Hey everybody, this is my first ever video on Rainbow Six Surge. I did plan on uploading a different video, but it was a 32-minute long discussion, and honestly, I cannot fit that into the 15-minute time restriction that I'm stuck on until I am able to upload longer videos. So for now, we're going to stick with just uploading a very simple video where I just talk about some of the notable stuff going on in this is literally just going to be talking about notable stuff along with the weapons. Now, to start off, let's just say that the G8A1, the Supernova, the ITA-12S, and the SMG-11 are going to be Amaro's new weapon, which is the new attacker. Goyo is going to have access to the Vector, the TCSG-12, and the P229. The only thing really notable about this weapon selection is the fact that for the first time ever, and this is going to be as of the next update, the G8A1 is going to have access to an angled grip. And as of right now, at least, the G8A1 is one of the 4 weapons in the game that doesn't have access to a laser sight. Those other weapons being the OTS-03, GSH-18, G8A1, and C-75 Auto. Now, I'm not going to go over all of this stuff because I kind of already talked about it, but let's just kind of go over some of the notable stuff. The G8A1 has the lowest capacity out of all of the LMGs, but out of all the weapons we have here, it does have the highest capacity at a solid 51. No surprise here, the TCSG-12 is sitting at a nice 84 as far as damage goes. SMG-11 far and away has one of the highest fire rates, I think the highest fire rate in all of Rainbow Six, as far as I can tell, or at least it's tied with the SMG-12. Let me double check. Yeah, that appears to be the case. And it sits at a solid 1,270 rounds per minute, not very far behind, or not very far above the Vector 45 at a very, very good 1,200 rounds per minute as well. Did I say 1,270? Well, if I didn't, boom, 1,270 rounds per minute. The DPS is going to definitely also be the best for the SMG-11 at a very solid 740 damage per second. That's what DPS stands for. As far as the shots to kill go, no surprise the Vector is the highest because of having the very low damage. But it does have a high fire rate, so it's going to make up for it in other factors. The SMG-11 actually has the highest efficiency, and let me quickly explain what efficiency is. It is and this is a fact, this is a thing I made up, okay? But according to me, efficiency is total damage divided by time to kill times time to empty. I hope I don't need to explain, total. Well, I guess I should explain total damage. Total damage is damage times capacity. So it's essentially damage times capacity divided by time to kill, which is how long it takes for the gun to empty, and time to empty, which is how long it takes for. Or sorry, the time to empty is how long it takes for the gun to empty. Time to kill is how much damage it'll do. Well, it's essentially how long it'll take for you to kill a target, and there I did do math to involve that. And interestingly enough, efficiency, which as I mentioned before is total damage divided by time to empty times time to kill, it actually is the highest out of all of the weapons in the game, not including the Boss G, which is extremely high at 8,000. But out of all the weapons in the game, it is actually the highest, second place behind the AK-12. So that's an interesting factoid right there. The shotgun damage, which is the total amount of damage, or how much damage a shotgun does, times the amount of pellets. Because remember, the damage is actually shots per pellet for shotguns. It's slightly higher with the ITA-12S versus the Supernova 384. So yeah, that is very interesting stuff. Quickly moving on here. As far as the G8A1, no surprise, it has a longer reload. And the P229 has the smallest reload, considering it's the only pistol. But as you can see here, there's a very significant difference between the tactical and the full reload for the G8A1, whereas for the P229, the difference is very small, only 0.3 seconds. So definitely not a very significant difference. ADS time, extremely high at 600 milliseconds or 0.6 seconds for the G8A1, and very small for the P229 at 0.2. I'll go in actually to the weapons themselves in just a moment. Not really anything notable here, except for, of course, the maximum damage being 84 for the TCSG-12, which is very, very high. The Vector, only 12. not as much of a definitely, or sorry, 21, not 12, only 21, very low damage, one of the lowest in the entire game actually. And it'll especially be noticeable when you get into ranges and if you have a suppressor, in which case it'll be 12. But overall, I would say between the Vector and the TCSG-12, which weapon you want to choose depends on where you want to go. Something I haven't really seen too many people talk about in the comments, because obviously this just came out, so I haven't seen that much. But when I was watching the live stream, the first off, let me just say, everybody was complaining about the fact that there was recycled weapons, which is actually kind of fair. What I think is kind of dumb is the amount of people complaining about the fact that there's a new battle pass. And I guess it depends on how they implement the battle pass, because this is what I've been asking for the longest time. I said I want a battle pass. I want there to be some other type of encouragement for me to play the game besides ranking up and getting more renown, because I have the season pass, so getting more renown doesn't really do me much except maybe get a few alpha packs. But specifically getting new content that rewards me for playing the game, I want that. I like it. A lot of people might just be complaining just because Fortnite did it, but that's so dumb. I mean, hell, Rocket League did it with the Rocket Pass, and I don't see as many people complaining about that, or at least they're not as vocal about it. I think that it's going to be a good system as long as they don't have like a new. It depends on how they do it, though. If they have it so that the premium is part of the season pass, or it's cheaper with the season pass, then I'm totally fine with it. I will absolutely buy it. I love getting new content. None of it is cosmetic. People are just complaining, or all of it is cosmetic. People are just complaining about it because Fortnite did it first, and I think that's really stupid. As long as the developer implements it in the right way. Of course, I don't like the limited idea of it, but at the same time, there's a lot of limited stuff in Rainbow Six. There's the fact that a lot of the uniforms and whatnot are only available for a season, and the fact that there are some weapon skins for the what's it called when organizations sign up for to get cosmetics. Whatever, the thing where pro league teams sign up to get cosmetics. I can't remember the name of it right now. Membership program, something membership program. The fact that those are only available for a short amount of time as well, and those cost real money, right? I mean, there's a lot of other things to complain about. I think people are just complaining about it just because of the thought of Fortnite being somewhat similar to Rainbow Six in that way, but they're not actually looking at it as added value. I mean, they're getting extra free content as well, even if you don't participate. So I think it's going to be totally fine. And people are just overreacting. And it's going to probably take a lot to convince me. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm a huge fan of Fortnite. I can't really stand Fortnite, but at the same time, I'm not getting ultra butthurt about it. Anyways, that's pretty much all of the notable stuff I have to add. Another thing, I don't know if I mentioned this, but G8A1, that one's gonna have this one. That's one of, I think I mentioned it, one of only 4 weapons to not have a laser sight. It's also going to have access to the angle grip as of next season, which I'm super excited about. What I will mention is where the weapons came from. And the G8A1 came from GSG9, has only been used by IQ as of right now. Supernova is going to be used by SAT, and is used by SAT, and so is the P229, which I'm super excited about because I have Hibana's Elite skin, and I have it for the Supernova, but I never use the Supernova because both of Echo and Hibana's other weapons are much better, and the Supernova is actually really not that good. It's an awful weapon. In fact, I would have preferred them to use a different weapon like the FO12, for crying out loud. So many people wanted the FO12 to be visible by another operator. Instead, they choose a weapon that's already been used by 2 operators, but is very weak in comparison. Anyways, especially because I want them to make weapons for defenders to be on the attacker side. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, as you can see here, though, a lot of DLC weapons, I would say. Let's see how many DLC weapons there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of the 7 weapons are going to be DLC weapons. Only the GA1 and SMG11 are year 1 weapons, not year 1 weapons. Pre-DLC weapons. Base game weapons, I should say. All right, so that's pretty much all I have to say for this small video. I go way more in depth into it into my other video, but I don't want to make that video as long as this video. Cheers.